You're not frightened now, are you?
No. Where does Your Excellency come from?
I am from heaven.
For several years, the contents of the Third Prophecy of Fatima had remained a puzzling mystery tucked away in the Vatican vault. It was part of a message that Our Lady of Fatima gave to 3 Portuguese children in 1917, with a specific request for it to remain concealed. Over time, successive popes became aware of its contents, yet none chose to disclose it to the public. As a result, speculation grew surrounding the potentially alarming contents of the letter, with fears ranging from the potential destruction of the Church to the very end of the world. What were the contents of the third secret of Fatima that had scared the Church to its core? Why had the third secret been kept a secret for so long? Join us as we unravel why the Church is terrified about this nun's prophecy. Let's travel back in time to May 13th, 1917, in central Portugal. Picture 3 young children, Lucia dos Santos, aged 9, and her cousins Francisco and Jacinta Marto, aged 8 and 6, respectively. On that fateful day, they were tending to their sheep when something extraordinary happened. Suddenly, a radiant woman appeared before them, surrounded by a brilliant light. This mysterious lady introduced herself as the Lady of the Rosary. The lady, who turned out to be the Virgin Mary, had a special request for the children. She asked them to pray the Rosary for world peace, the end of World War I, and the conversion of Russia. Additionally, she shared with them 3 secrets, but these were to remain a mystery to the public until the year 2000. Tragedy struck the young trio when Francisco passed away in 1919, followed by Jacinta in 1920. Lucia was the sole survivor, entrusted with the burden of keeping the 3 secrets hidden for a long time. The first secret was a vision of hell, a truly chilling experience. The second secret contained prophecies about the 20th century, including the rise of communism and the devastating impact of 2 world wars. Our Lady of Fatima wanted the children to spread the other parts of her message, which warned of a widespread moral collapse in marriages and the dire consequences that awaited humanity if they did not repent for their sins, particularly sins of impurity. Now here's where things get intriguing. The third secret of Fatima remained locked away for many years, shrouded in secrecy. This sparked speculation and gave rise to various conspiracy theories about its contents. On July 13th, the children were finally privy to the secret, with strict instructions to keep it confidential. As time went on, some of the prophecies made by the children started to come true, and the Church was shaken by a terrifying event. It was then that the alarming third secret was unveiled to the public. Still, one piece remained hidden. To find out, stick around till the end. But before we delve into that, let's first understand some important context. In 1943, an event occurred that would eventually lead to one of the most intriguing mysteries in the history of the Catholic Church. Sister Lucia, one of the 3 children who experienced the apparitions of the Virgin Mary in Fatima, fell ill. It was during this time that she was asked to write down the third secret, a prophetic message believed to hold significant importance for the world and the Church. Following the instructions she received, Sister Lucia took a sheet of paper and carefully transcribed the third secret. Once she had completed the task, she sealed the message in an envelope and entrusted it to the Bishop of Laria. However, this was not the end. The envelope was marked with clear instructions that it was to be opened in the year 1960. Sister Lucia was eager for its contents to be revealed to the world. She requested that the Bishop of Laria read the secret, hoping that its message would be disseminated and its significance understood. However, the bishop refused her request, opting instead to keep the envelope in safekeeping. Recognizing the importance of the secret, he later transferred it to the secret archives of the Holy Office on April 4, 1957, ensuring that it would be protected under lock and key. In August 1959, the envelope containing the third secret made its way into the hands of Pope John XXIII. Father Paul Pierre Philippe, the representative of the Holy Office, delivered the envelope to the Pope with Cardinal Alfredo Ottaviani's agreement. According to the accounts of the time, Pope John XXIII hesitated, when faced with the decision of whether or not to open the envelope. Ultimately, he chose not to disclose the secret and returned the envelope to the Holy Office. The passing years brought new challenges and changes to the papacy, but the secret remained hidden from public view. It was not until almost 6 years later, during the papacy of Pope Paul VI, that the contents of the secret were finally read. However, even after being privy to its message, Pope Paul VI decided against its publication. The envelope containing the secret was once again returned to the archives of the Holy Office, where it remained under lock and key. The question arises, what was contained in the letter that none of the popes wanted to disclose? The answer to this question lies in a momentous event that took place on May 13, 1981, in St. Peter's Square. Pope John Paul II, known for his charismatic presence and tireless efforts to connect with people around the world, was the target of an assassination attempt orchestrated by Mehmet Ali Aga, a Turkish gunman. As Pope John Paul II concluded his address to the thousands gathered in St. Peter's Square, Aga fired 4 shots at him from close range. The bullets found their mark, causing severe injuries to the Holy Father. The Pope was struck in the abdomen, left hand, and right arm. Chaos erupted as security personnel rushed to protect the Pope and apprehend Aga. Despite his wounds, John Paul II displayed remarkable fortitude and refused to let the attack dampen his spirits. Emergency medical care was swiftly administered, and the Pope was rushed to Gemelli Hospital in Rome, where he underwent life-saving surgery. Miraculously, he survived the ordeal, defying the odds and capturing the world's attention. It was during his recovery that Pope John Paul II, reflecting on the assassination attempt and his survival, requested the envelope containing the third part of the secret. When he regained consciousness and read its contents, he found himself astounded. The secret spoke of him, the Pope, as the one whom Our Lady of Fatima had prophesied. In his interpretation, Pope John Paul II believed that on May 13, 1982, the 64th anniversary of the initial Fatima apparition, the Blessed Mother Mary had intervened to guide the bullets fired at him, protecting him from death. In the context of the third secret of Fatima, the Pope saw a profound connection between himself and the bishop dressed in white, mentioned in the vision. Although he did not succumb to death, Pope John Paul II identified himself as the Pope, or bishop referred to in the third part of the secret, the one who was destined to be killed. He viewed his survival as a miraculous intervention by the Blessed Mother. Naturally, skeptics questioned this interpretation. They argued that Pope John Paul II could not be the bishop in white because he did not die. In response, the Pope asserted that he should have died, but that the Blessed Mother had brought him back from the brink of death. He firmly maintained that the Blessed Mother had given him back his life, leaving no doubt in his mind about the profound connection between the secret and his own experiences. The events surrounding the third secret of Fatima and its connection to the assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II continue to captivate the imagination of believers and skeptics alike. The secrecy surrounding the contents of the third secret, coupled with the Pope's personal interpretation and conviction, has fueled speculation and intrigue. Critics argue that if the secret was indeed about the assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II, it would have been more explicit and specific in its details. They contend that the events described in the secret could be open to alternative interpretations, or that there may be more to the secret than what has been revealed. Others believe that the secret's connection to the Pope's assassination attempt is a powerful testament to the intercession of the Blessed Mother and the prophetic nature of the Fatima apparitions. They see it as a confirmation of the message of Fatima and the importance of prayer, penance, and devotion to Mary. Despite the controversy and speculation, the Vatican has not officially disclosed the full contents of the third secret. In 2000, the Vatican released a document known as the Message of Fatima, which included a vision and a commentary on the secret. However, many believe that the full text of the secret has not been revealed. In 2000, Pope John Paul II approved the release of the vision associated with the third secret. The vision depicted a scene of a bishop dressed in white who was shot and killed by soldiers. The Pope's interpretation of this vision in relation to his own assassination attempt has shaped the understanding of the secret for many. It is worth noting that in 2010, the Vatican published a book titled The Last Secret of Fatima by Cardinal Tarcisio Bertone, who served as the Vatican Secretary of State. In the book, Cardinal Bertone claimed that the secret contained not only the vision, but also the explanation given by Sister Lucia. However, the book's publication did not fully satisfy those seeking complete transparency regarding the nun's prophecy. Pope Benedict XV, the 265th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, initially believed in the authenticity of the Church's revelation of the prophecy of Fatima. However, he later became convinced that the Church's public declaration of the prophecy was not entirely true. The Third Secret, published in a shortened form, describes an angel with a flaming sword attempting to set the world on fire. In the presence of Mary, the flames are extinguished while the angel calls for penance. The vision then shows a bishop dressed in white, whom the young shepherds assume to be the Pope, ascending a hill with bishops, priests, and religious figures. At the top of the hill stands a rough cork oak cross, which can only be reached by passing through a ruined city filled with corpses. The vision culminates in the bishop dressed in white and others being killed by a group of soldiers. Two angels collect the blood of the martyrs and use it to nourish the souls seeking God. Some analysts and followers of Fatima believe that the published text only partially lives up to the secrecy and anticipation that surrounded it for many years. They argue that there must be more to the prophecy that has yet to be revealed. According to these followers, the missing elements in the published text include references to catastrophic events such as Vatican II and the assault on the Church by modernist liberals within its ranks. Additionally, they claim that the Third Secret predicted an apostasy or loss of faith within the Church, originating from its highest authorities. Some interpreters also believe that the prophecy hints at the possibility of World War III leading to the destruction of Rome, as well as various natural disasters. There are specific clues that suggest the existence of unrevealed content. In a conversation between Pope John Paul II and Cardinal Ratzinger, who would later become Pope Benedict XVI, in November 1980, John Paul II mentioned that the Third Secret had yet to be revealed due to the responsibility associated with its knowledge. He expressed concern that people might seek an understanding of the secret out of mere curiosity, leading to sensationalism. However, he did mention that entire regions of the earth will be flooded with water, resulting in the sudden death of millions. This information appears outside the text published in 2000, raising questions about its source. In a well-known 1984 interview with Vittorio Messori, Cardinal Ratzinger elaborated on the dangers that threatened the faith and life of Christians, as well as the world, as described in the Third Secret. He argued that the content of the secret aligned with what is foretold in Scripture and confirmed in other Marian apparitions. However, the vision of the Pope being killed by soldiers, as presented in the official version of the Third Secret published in 2000, does not necessarily reflect the threats to the faith or correspond to the end times. Searching through other Marian apparitions would yield no reference to the prophecy of a Pope being killed by soldiers. This discrepancy suggests that there may be undisclosed aspects that the Vatican has chosen not to publish. When the Third Secret of Fatima was revealed in 2000 by order of Pope John Paul II, Cardinal Ratzinger commented that it referred to the attack suffered by John Paul II in 1981 and the broader struggle between atheist communism and the Church. He connected the prophecy with the overall message of prayer, penance, and reparation of Fatima. In other words, according to Cardinal Ratzinger, what the text prophesied had already been fulfilled with the failed assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II. However, in 2010, Pope Benedict XV visited Fatima and seemingly changed his perspective. He stated that those who believed the prophetic mission of Fatima was complete were mistaken. During an interview on the plane trip to Fatima, he highlighted the novelty of the message, emphasizing that attacks on the Pope and the Church not only come from external forces, but also from within. This statement raises questions about the meaning of the soldiers who kill the Pope being from within the Church. In 2016, Father Ingo Darlinger revealed that Pope Benedict XVI had confided in him that there was more to the Secret of Fatima. The Vatican responded by asserting that it had published everything it had regarding the Third Secret of Fatima. However, it is worth noting that along with the original sheet of the Third Secret, an additional sheet was found in the envelope. This additional sheet contained Sister Lucy's interpretation of the images revealed in the Third Secret. Some analysts refer to this extra sheet as the Fourth Secret of Fatima. The existence of this second sheet, which impressed Pope John XXIII due to its apocalyptic nature, led him to believe it was a product of Sister Lucy's thoughts rather than a supernatural origin. The Vatican has maintained this stance, reserving its opinion on the additional sheet while considering it separate from the Third Secret. Given his loyalty to the Church institution, Pope Benedict XVI adhered to the Vatican's decision not to publish the additional sheet and continued to uphold this position during his papacy. However, in 2010, he hinted that there was more to the nun's prophecy, suggesting a possible shift in his perspective. While he did not alter the Vatican's decision to withhold the additional sheet, his statement implied that he had become aware of the content that several analysts believe is contained within the Third Secret. What are the interesting theories on the Third Secret of Fatima? And why was the Catholic Church version not believed? The Third Secret of Fatima is a topic that has sparked numerous conspiracy theories and captured the imagination of many. The secrecy surrounding the contents of this secret, allegedly revealed to 3 young Portuguese children by the Virgin Mary in 1917, has led to speculation and skepticism. In this article, we will explore some of the popular conspiracy theories surrounding the Third Secret of Fatima, the reasons behind these theories, and the reactions of Christians and the general public. One of the most prominent conspiracy theories suggests that the Vatican has withheld the true contents of the Third Secret. According to this theory, the secret contains information that could potentially challenge the authority and credibility of the Catholic Church. Some claim that the Third Secret predicts a future crisis within the Church, such as a schism or a corruption scandal. The Vatican's alleged decision to keep this information hidden is seen as an attempt to maintain control and prevent panic among the faithful. Another theory proposes that the Third Secret of Fatima predicts catastrophic events or the end of the world. Supporters of this theory argue that the secret contains prophecies concerning global disasters, wars, or even apocalyptic events. They believe that the Church, fearing widespread fear and chaos, has deliberately concealed this information to avoid mass panic. There is also a theory that the Third Secret foretells a specific event or assassination attempt targeting a prominent figure. Some speculate that the secret predicted the assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II in 1981, which occurred on the anniversary of the apparitions at Fatima. They argue that the Church downplayed the significance of the secret to avoid associating it with the attack on the Pope. The reasons behind these conspiracy theories are manifold. Firstly, the secrecy surrounding the Third Secret has fueled speculation and curiosity. The fact that the Vatican kept the secret sealed for many years, despite requests for its disclosure, naturally led to suspicion and mistrust. This secrecy, coupled with the historical significance and religious importance attributed to the apparitions at Fatima, created fertile ground for conspiracy theories to flourish. Secondly, the Church's delayed release of the Third Secret in 2000 further fueled skepticism. When the secret was finally made public, it was revealed that it contained a vision of a bishop dressed in white being killed by soldiers. Many believed that this vision needed to be completed and fully correspond to the gravity of the secret's significance. Critics argued that the released text was a sanitized version, and the real secret remained concealed. The reaction of Christians and the general public to the Church's statement on the Third Secret varied. Some accepted the official explanation and believed that the released text accurately represented the content of the secret. They saw it as a warning against the dangers of atheistic ideologies and the need for prayer and penance in the face of global challenges. However, many people, including Christians, expressed skepticism and dissatisfaction with the Church's statement. They questioned why it took so long for the secret to be disclosed and why certain elements were allegedly withheld. The discrepancy between the release text and the expectations of a catastrophic or controversial revelation led to widespread doubts. Another fascinating theory that has become very popular is the Pope-centric interpretation, proposing that the secret relates to challenges faced by the papacy. According to this theory, the secret may involve internal conflicts within the Vatican or external threats to the authority and stability of the Pope. Supporters of this interpretation argue that the visions and messages received by the three children in Fatima pertain directly to the papacy due to the prominent role of the Pope in the Catholic Church. They believe that the Virgin Mary's message in the third secret may contain warnings or prophetic insights specifically aimed at the Pope and the challenges he would face during his pontificate. One possible aspect of the Pope-centric interpretation is the idea that the third secret predicts internal conflicts within the Vatican. These conflicts could manifest as power struggles, disagreements over doctrine or policy, or even scandals involving high-ranking church officials. Supporters of this theory argue that the secrecy surrounding the third secret could be explained by the Church's desire to protect its internal dynamics and prevent further divisions or controversies. The reasons behind the Pope-centric interpretation are rooted in the significance of the papacy within the Catholic Church. The Pope is considered the spiritual leader and representative of Christ on earth, and any challenges or threats to the papacy are seen as potentially detrimental to the Church as a whole. The secrecy surrounding the third secret has allowed for various interpretations to emerge, and the Pope-centric interpretation resonates with those who view the Vatican and the Pope as central figures in the message of Fatima. Regardless of what theory you believe, the third secret of Fatima carries a profound message of spiritual renewal and deeper devotion to our Catholic faith. Just as the Virgin Mary appeared to the children of Fatima, she beckons us to examine our lives, seek forgiveness, and embrace a more intimate relationship with God. Let us heed her call by engaging in personal prayer, sincere repentance, and acts of charity. Through the recitation of the Rosary, we can connect with the transformative power of Mary's intercession. The prophecy of Fatima reminds us of the urgency to align our lives with the teachings of the Church, fostering unity and love among believers. In this time of spiritual turmoil, the third secret invites us to renew our commitment to God, strengthen our faith, and embrace the profound grace that comes from a life dedicated to prayer and devotion. Thanks for watching another episode of Beyond Discovery. While you're still here, click on the other videos you see on your screen right now.